All right, hey y'all, I'm going to do a short, just kind of soliloquy deconstruction for you. This is Lady Macbeth's soliloquy, her speech by herself in scene 5. And I'm actually going to break it kind of into 3 pieces as we go through it. Because if you look at it, you have this part where she's reading a letter from her husband. And then there's this break. And remember, we've talked about how breaks in lines indicate some sort of shift or change. So then she's just kind of talking out loud to herself. Then there's another break, and a messenger comes in, and she kind of responds to what the messenger said. Not to him, but just in general. So I'm going to start up here, and I'm just going to look at this chunk first. She says, "They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with Hail, King that shall be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thy heart, and farewell." So this is actually from Macbeth's letter to Lady Macbeth. And if you break it down, he's saying they met me in the day of success. When he says they, he's referring to the witches. And he's saying Macbeth and Banquo, we have just won the war, basically. We've battled against Sweno and all these other people, and we've won. And I've learned by perfect report they have more in them than mortal knowledge. So here he's talking about the witches. He's recounting to his wife what the witches told him. And when he burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. So they disappeared. Oh my gosh, they're gone. Which adds to kind of the mystery of everything. And then he goes on to tell her a little bit about what the weird sisters, the witches, actually said to him. "The king's messengers hailed me as," and this is where he talks about the different titles that the witches gave him, and now a messenger has shown up from the king with missives, with messages, and they hail him as the Thane of Cawdor. Which he's like, wait a minute, the witches just said that. And I said, what are you talking about? I'm not the Thane of Cawdor, I'm only the Thane of Glamis. The witches also called me king. And so he's kind of at this point like, whoa, what's going on? And he wants to tell her, he said, I wanted to tell you this so that you could be excited about it too. And that you would know what is promised thee and me and us and we. So if he's going to be king, she's going to be queen, and he wants her to be excited about it. So now here she just starts kind of responding and talking about what Macbeth has told her. And this is a soliloquy, but it's also an aside, which is another literary term. When you have an aside, it is speech by a character, but it's meant to be heard only by the audience. So if there were other characters here, they wouldn't be able to hear this. So she's talking to herself in this part, or really kind of talking to the audience. And when you're completely alone on the stage, it's called, that's not how you spell it, it's called a soliloquy. Okay, so there's just some fun little lit terms for us. So this is all to herself. She says, "Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, thou wouldst thou wholly. Wouldst thou not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win? Thou'dst have, great Glamis, that which cries, thus thou must do if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do than wishes should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valour of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal." So she's kind of talking to herself in response to what her husband has said. She says, you're going to be what you've promised. You have it in you. However, I fear thy nature is too full of the milk of human kindness. She wants him to have this, but she worries. She's like, you're kind of a nice dude. I really want you to be king, but to be king, you are maybe too nice to do the illness, the bad things, to attend it, to get what you need to have. You do have ambition. That's a good thing. You have the ambition to be king, but you don't necessarily have the evil will, or she calls it the illness. You don't have the darkness in you to do what you need. And then she goes into a whole bunch of thous and wouldsts and havests and thus, and basically she's saying you could do it, but I'm just worried that you don't quite have the dirt in you too. So she says, hie thee hither. And this is kind of an apostrophe. She's saying, oh, hurry home, my love, hie thee hither. Hie means to come, hither means here. So hurry home, really to her. Hurry home to me quickly, so I may pour my spirits in thine ear. She wants to whisper and to tell him and to talk to him. She wants to whisper to him and convince him what to do. Chastise with the valor of mine tongue all that impedes thee. To chastise means to knock down, to be upset with, to make something feel diminutive. And so she's saying, let me use my strength and evil will. I have the darkness in me. Let me take that darkness and knock out your goodness so that you can do this. So she wants to make you willing to get rid of all all that impedes thee, all that gets in the way of being king. She says, I'll help you. I got it. I have the evil in me. This is just a fun little note. The golden round. What is she referring to? It's something special here. We haven't seen these for a while. When you use words to kind of rename other words, that's a specific type of literary device. We have a kenning. Oh, you thought you had seen the last of them. Sorry. All right, so a messenger comes in and says, oh, the king is here. The king is arriving. And then he walks away. He's not important. So now she's back to talking to herself again. But now she's more kind of reflecting on the fact that, oh, okay, cool. Macbeth is here. Let's get this stuff. Let's get this going. Let's make this happen. She says, the raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife sees not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold. I'll give you guys a link to some much better readings of that, because Lady Macbeth is really getting dark here. She is doing this thing called apostrophe, and in literature or drama, when you speak to someone or something that is not there, that is an apostrophe. Someone or something that is not there. So she's basically, she says, come you spirits. She's evoking spirits. She's speaking to gods and demons, and she says, unsex me, which is kind of weird to be like, what's going on? But you have to remember that a woman's role in this era is to be the good little wife, to be the good little housekeeper, to be, your husband's little chattel. So she's speaking to spirits and gods and demons and basically anything metaphysical that's listening. And she says, make me not woman. She doesn't want to be a dude, but she's saying, make me manly, make me strong, take away my femininity so that I can do what must be done. Because remember, she's worried that her husband might not have it in him. Take away all of she says the passage to remorse, the compunctious visitings of nature. Take away all of my womanliness, all of my womanly compassion, all of her feelings, all of her, mushy-gushy stuff, so that she can do what she needs to do and make this stuff happen. And really what she's talking about is she's talking about her husband. She's not going to do the actual actions, but she needs to be able to convince her husband to do evil things, basically to kill the king. It's going to take everything that's in her to convince him to do these things. And so she says, come night, because with night comes Macbeth, comes the king. Everybody's coming to her castle. They're coming over for a party. And she says, all right, let's get this started. Let's get things moving. So she's awesome, and she's crazy, and she's crazy awesome, and awesome crazy. But I will give you guys some links to some really good performances of this speech, and enjoy it because it's awesome.